I was trying to arrange my hair before starting this recording, and then I'm like, let's just fucking kill that ego and let's just record how I'm trying to make sense of this hair. Ah. Totally mocking my own self. Ah, cheers. Cheers, guys. Once again, we've got coffee and foam. If you weren't informed, or if I didn't say, I got the foam machine frother as a gift for my birthday. It was the thing I asked for. I asked for that and a coffee French press. So I've been using those. Just gonna take a sip now. Mm. Phone. The phone is ringing. Interesting. Who could it be? I'm not responding. Nope. Mm, I think my mom's still sleeping. Well, that's a good morning for her on a Saturday morning. Okay, lots of relevant information for you and anybody tuning in for the podcast. I know this is so informal, but it's the way that I choose to present myself because I make it a practice to show up authentically, whatever that means. The way I understand authenticity is that I'm not playing a role according to what I think is right. I'm just going along with what I feel. So it's always changing, and it's full on self-discovery every single time. And yeah, we never know what we're getting. And it doesn't quite look like the model that we are shown all the time. But I think that we need more of that. So let's just keep doing it. And I just wanted to take a moment before starting to speak to just empty my mind a little bit and just get grounded. Get grounded here and now. So yeah, I invite you all to take a deep breath with me. If you want to join me for this one, could be nice. Um, so let's just take a big inhale. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. So I was up around like 3 a.m. last night, and I couldn't really fall back asleep. I had a lot going on inside my mind, like so many images, so many things, information being processed on a level that I can't even understand. Um, it's like a lot happening in the subconscious. And when we're talking about the mind and the subconscious, it's this big it, field of consciousness that is uniting us all. So there's the collective unconscious, which we see being expressed through culture and society, and the patterns that we have encoded through lifetimes and generations. And there's the unconscious within us that is, I guess, it's just like a part of the whole, and ultimately we are the self-expressing as the whole. So it's very metaphysical. But I'm sorry, my mind is a bit into the metaphysics right now because I also just finished listening to the audiobook of the psychedelic experience that was written by Ram Dass before he changed his name. So Richard Alpert, had to check his name last time because I did not recall it properly. And that other guy, Richard something Field. What was his name? I want to get his name right because I watched a movie where he was in it with Ram Dass, and it was really good recently. Okay, Timothy Leary. Oh my God. So I watched recently Timothy Leary and Ram Dass. It was a book that came out, a movie that came out in 2001, about the relationship, and it's a beautiful movie. And then I just finished listening to this audiobook that I started after watching the movie because it inspired me. And it pretty much just runs you through the concepts of what do you need to get a good psychedelic experience, and how all the different stages of a psychedelic trip are really just manifestations of what's going on inside our psyche. And I guess the big takeaway from the whole entire book manual that they wrote is to be non-attached to both the good and the bad. So quotation marks here with good and bad, because those are really just judgments that we place on these things. They're just labels. And ultimately, again, if we look at reality as just energy and motion, there are no labels. There is no good and bad. And when we place ourselves in the observer stance, just taking a step back and just looking at it instead of being so moved by everything, we can just see it as it is. It's not good or bad. It just is. It just is. Words are very limiting. Fuck, I'm always cold. I don't think I don't know how ready I am for winter, because I don't know how long I can actually use the excuse that I was in Thailand for 2 years, like 5 years later in Canada. I was in Thailand for 2 years, 5 years ago. Sorry, that was not funny at all, but it was from my mind. I'm probably slightly tired. Definitely. I painted. I painted in the garage this morning. That was nice. It feels good because it helps me put my focus on one place. And the sun isn't shining through today. There's a lot of clouds. So that's something to embrace. I'm so sorry if you're tuning in with the podcast, the audible version. Um, I really don't know what kind of entertainment this is, but I was thinking about, you know, if you understand the game of life, you want to pretty much, I mean, for me personally, I want to have as much fun as possible. That's what I want. But at the same time, I'm not gonna like fake something that I'm not feeling. For example, I don't really feel like dressing like a clown right now to make anybody laugh. It's not really my style. So that's gonna be somebody's calling out there, and I applaud them for that. That's cool. Good on them. We definitely need comedy and humor in our lives because we definitely tend to take life too seriously. Um, but I was thinking about, okay, we have all this information about the game of life. We understand. We create our own realities through our energy. So what can I do? I can take care of my energy. I'm cold right now, so I'm gonna try and create some warmth. And if I'm tired, well, maybe I'm gonna take a nap later. It's really not that complicated. Gonna eat healthy foods. I'm gonna make choices that create beautiful insides. Obviously, that did not come just like that. It was a lot of practice, and it's continuous practice every single day of making the choices that are going to support my well-being. And there's this really interesting thing in the psyche that happens when we have been making choices that are very, let's qualify them as poor choices. For example, choices that relate to instant comforts, and that might have a negative impact on ourselves or others now or later. So there's definitely the law of karma coming into play. And I know that the word karma gets thrown around a lot, but what it is really, it's so simple. It's really just the law of cause and effect. Whatever choice we make is going to have a consequence. So if I choose to um I don't know, eat 3 bars of chocolate right now, I'm probably gonna have like a stomach ache later and have a crash and not feel super good. So will not be my choice. Instead, we're going for coffee with foam. But I was thinking about, okay, well, what can I do today that is an offering? Because remember that I've decided to enter the law of exchange. I think that I was feeling very stagnant when I was not doing that. And it's something that it's a feeling we get, I think, when we're kind of we say that we feel stuck. We don't know what to do, what action to take. And at that time, I think there's probably a lot of value in just like stopping and being still. There's profound wisdom in stillness. And I've been meditating a lot lately. And then I just figured that the only thing that I could offer right now, the most naturally, would be to offer myself, or at least my psyche. Sorry, it ends here. um, and I offer my heart as well, but it's they're both very open, so there's no sense of possession or attachment here. It's an open offering simply. And yeah, I figured that that's what I have to give. I have what I am. Hmm. And then I asked myself another question. And the question was, what could I say that would be of value for people today? I don't know. What needs to be said? What needs to be heard? All I know is my own experience. I can talk about the experience I had last night, but I don't think that's of value to you. I was just whole like thing in meditation, and dreams have been crazy lately. So my body is just like calibrating. And I think that if there's any confusion arising, it's just because there's a lot of change going on. That's all. I don't feel really confused right now. I mostly feel just tired. But I was still curious to come and show up. I was thinking of Terence McKenna and how he does that. I'm not comparing myself to Terence McKenna here, but I think of what I've seen and how he would do that, just go on stage and talk about everything. The guy's a genius, and he's studied the history of humanity and all dimensions of life that were foreseen from his point of awareness. So that had a lot of value to be shared. Um, who else out there listens to Terence McKenna and enjoys it? I love to listen to him to hear some new words. Like, oh fuck, what does that mean? And then I go on Google. Here's another excuse I enjoy using sometimes. The fact that English is my second language is definitely an excuse I still use when I don't know or don't recall a word, or just, yeah, don't know. Talk about knowing and not knowing. That's a fun topic. Let's see. Yeah, I like that topic. You know how they say the more you know, the more you don't know, and that's for sure. And also a thing that I have um, realized through experience is that when you think you know something, you're just about to be thrown off and be shown that, hey, it's not actually how it is. So it's a really interesting thing. And it probably ties in with the whole creative energy that life is, because that's what it is. Creation is a flux of energy that is constantly reforming, transforming. So really, if you think you know something, it's about to change. It doesn't even exist anymore the way you've seen it. So that's gone. And it ties with the topic of non-attachment, which Timothy Leary and his partners were talking about in the psychedelic experience based on the Tibetan Book of the Dead, um, which is about just observing all the visions you are shown, just witnessing them and not clinging onto anything, the good or the bad. Some people see, like, I've heard of some people seeing, for example, like really attractive beings in their psychedelic journeys, and the thing to do there would be to not do anything, of course, to not get involved and to just be a witness. And the same goes with the if you see any scary entities or things that um might frighten you, they're just aspects of yourself. So again, to not fear, but to simply observe. And I think those concepts, they really apply to our whole experience of life, because this is a waking dream. I mean, there's not much of a difference except that we're playing with space and time and third dimension stuff. That's all. It's just denser, pretty much. It's the same thing, just denser. And I was talking about going through the other day. So there's definitely this thing of a density shifting, maybe. Yeah. Wow, somebody's really trying to reach home. Interesting. Um, Yeah. So if we're integrating more light within the body, because I've said that there's more photons touching the earth, and we're doing all these yoga practices to release tension from the body, which are the places that are like dark areas that hold tension, and those are denser areas within the body. I guess it does really relate with being more spacious, creating more space within ourselves, uh, ourselves, cells. So remember that we are these multidimensional beings. Every cell within our body has intelligence. All of the cells, millions, billions, trillions. I'm not good with numbers. A really big number of them. They all have intelligence and they are all encoded with memory. That's why we eat food, and let's say you eat bananas for breakfast, well, the bananas turn into a human. And if a monkey eats bananas, it's going to turn into a monkey, not a human, because cells have memory. And so they know how to regenerate themselves according to the patterns that were encoded. But I've been talking a little bit about my spine, the quantum realm, and how things are shifting, and they're shifting quickly because past and future are now intertwining more than ever. I mean, they were always accessible through the present moment, and yogis have been exploring these realms for a long time. Um, where was I going with this? I was talking about light and density. How did I got to yogis? How did I get here? Um, so it makes sense that we're creating this space within ourselves. Yes, okay, that's what I wanted to say, space within ourselves. So remember how yesterday I was talking about the realm of pure potentiality, which is the empty space between electrons. And that's exactly what's going on. It's that as we keep up with our practices of releasing tension within the body, releasing trauma that's been encoded through our interpretation of experiences and our memories, every story that we've clinged onto, and all these things we carry, they get very heavy. And these attachments, it's all very heavy stuff, and it's a lot to carry around everywhere we go inside the body. So when we start detaching from all that and we start gaining awareness of our beliefs, our stories, our attachments, and who we think we are, and we let go of these things so that we can create space within ourselves to explore the creativity that wants to come through. Creativity is within that space. It's the potential. It's what if, what could be. It's in there, but there's the importance of not clinging onto any of it because it is all temporary. All of it. All of it is just passing through us like these ideas, just whoo, and clinging onto something is the fastest way to lose it. For all the people who have attachment issues, don't worry. um yeah, we uh we have all passed on stories from generations to generations. So many stories. It's what we do. It's what humans do. We are symbolic creatures. We create meaning out of our experiences so that we feel a sense of sanity, of purpose, of belonging. Yeah, maybe that's why we create stories. And yeah, we've been ingesting stories from generations and generations prior to ours. Um, People who have run off programs for a long time, programs based on fear or survival. And that's where the program is really shifting. That's what I see, is that we are reprogramming ourselves to no longer run off of anything that is fear-based. And that's big. That's really big. Because being in the third dimension means that we are playing with biology. And that's life. That's all of life. It's a biological process. It's cells regenerating themselves. It's energy exchange, and it's creation and reproduction. And that's the realm that we're playing in. So how do you get rid of fear? Is that even possible? And one thing that is definitely a popular saying, and I think that it simplifies things a lot, is that we can make a choice between love and fear. And the way that I understand the difference is that when we're in a state of fear, we are acting from this place of darkness, of not seeing the full picture. It it it's a consequence of the memories we have in ourselves. That's what fear is. I also like the acronym for fear: false event appearing real. So yes, we can know that our fears are illusions, but still they will remain very they will feel like very what's the word, like tangent, like they will feel real until we actually face them and go through them to realize that they were not. So that's part of my practices, to always go within the fear, which is something I've been doing just with those videos. I was pretty nervous about putting them out there, and I mean, with every new step that I take, it's going to feel the same way. So as I share more personal stuff, perhaps according to what I feel, or just take a step that I haven't taken before, which is just stepping into the unknown, that fear comes up again, because it's that biological response to darkness. Really, that's all it is. It's just, I'm asking myself, why is the unknown so scary to us? Why is the unknown so scary? A lack of trust? Probably. Yeah. Because if you trust fully and you let yourself fall, knowing that you'll be caught, there's no space for fear. And life feels like that. It feels like that. It's knowing that when you take that step, when you take that leap of faith, you will be caught. It's such a beautiful thing. Yeah, it's really beautiful. Before heading to Thailand, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that. I I had to give up a lot to actually embark on that journey that I had been dreaming of for a really long time. I was dreaming of living abroad and experiencing life in a different country, and also seeing if I can just rely on myself and figure things out as I go. And I remember I was living in Toronto at the time. I was teaching there, And I just asked the universe, like, can you please give me a sign? Like, just give me something. Am I supposed to do this? Am I supposed to? Should I? Should I take the step and go to Thailand? Do I take the leap of faith and leave everything behind? And what happened was that the next day I forgot, well, I left my phone on the train station, well, in the subway train, and I realized that I had left it there as my Bluetooth disconnected. So I left the train at my station, and my phone kept going to the next station in the train. So it was gone, and I had to get to work. So I head to school without my phone. And later on, well, I had some help to contact the number, and the person who had picked it up kept it safely for me. And they met me at a mall that evening, and they waited like 2 hours after their long day of work to bring me my phone back. And they didn't even want to accept anything that I wanted to offer. I had like this Starbucks gift card, and I just wanted to say thank you somehow. And they didn't want to accept anything. So it was just like pure kindness. And that to me was the meaning of a sign. That for me, that's what it meant. It was like, yes, take that step, take that leap of faith, and just trust that life is going to take care of you. And it really has. I've been provided for in more ways than I could ever possibly know while I was in Thailand, because um I've also been compared by some friends to like um okay, I'm gonna share this picture that is in my mind. Somebody once compared me, like I'd be walking through a place that is like that has bombing and like chaos and all the stuff around, and I would just walk through unaware of what's going on. And I can kind of be like that sometimes. I just walk through things not realizing potential dangers because my focus is probably on some bird or the blue sky. um so I've definitely been protected by strangers, friends, family, and a whole bunch of beings that we don't see, I bet. But that's all dependent on your set of beliefs and what kind of stories you make up within your mind to generate meaning out of this existence. Um, but my awareness and the things I've came across with that felt resonant to my being have shown me that there are definitely beings in other dimensions that are um, looking upon us, or I don't really want to say down on us, but are keeping their gaze on us and sending their love and light. And again, the spirituality and science is really one and the same. I talked about the quantum physics aspect of it all yesterday. So if we relate it with that, it's just beings that are vibrating at a much higher frequency that we don't see them in the third dimension. Um, and that's kind of what happened yesterday as I was meditating. I was playing with my imagination and I was asking myself questions, and the answers would come through as feelings. So if the answer that I imagined did not feel right, I could just like I was not excited. Just, when you're like, no, it just doesn't feel like it. And then I had another potential answer that came to mind, and my whole body went like, yes, yes, that's it, that's it. So I connected with, um it feels so private to say, I don't know, I'm gonna sound so weird. I came across an entity that uh might be known as the Galactic Council of Light. And they delivered a message that I don't fully recall consciously, but I recall the part prior where they said that I don't even have to deliver this message on my online medias, that just me, through receiving it in the present moment, everybody was also receiving it. That's what they said. And there was nothing to do, simply receive. And that also ties in with what life is. It's receptivity. How do you reproduce? It's through reception. So um we're in this big biological web of creation, and communication with other dimensions seems more common now than it ever was. I imagine it has to do with the photons and the light coming through. And we're just learning to detach from all the density that we have ingested throughout our lifetime. Density in the form of beliefs, um, density in the form of attachments to our sense of identity, density in the sense of trauma encoded in the body. So if you didn't know, anytime we live some sort of event that felt somewhat traumatic to us, and it can be very small as like not being able to cry at a time where we needed to cry, being really upset about something and not acknowledging it, well, it gets encoded in the body. It could be like a shoulder pain, something like that, and you carry it for as long as it takes for you to release it. And you can release it through somatic experiences by, stretching or energy work as well. Reiki healing helps. Well, it goes to the core, I guess, to the, well, energy is the all encompassing. So if you have the energy stuck in your body, it's a density. So it's just the energy that has been pushed together, pressed. So I'm really feeling this topic of pressing things together right now, and learning to create space to distance the cells from each other, distance our gaze from ourselves, distance ourselves from all the drama of the mind and all the drama of society, so that we can bring in more joy for ourselves. It's really a process to let go, but I also keep being reminded that it doesn't have to be painful or uncomfortable. I'm thinking about pain that seems to be an intrinsic part to life, but if you look at nature, because when I ask myself questions, I usually just tend to look at nature. If I go look at trees or just see how they be, you get a lot of answers there on what is superfluous, because if a tree is not doing that, we probably don't need to either. um yeah, learning to detach. And it won't be painful if we just surrender to everything, just like the psychedelic experience. If you have played with any of the portals that are given to us on Earth, such as mushrooms or LSD or those types of doorways, which I haven't tried all of them, but I have experienced before. Not to extensive um, proportions, but enough to at least I get it, and I get how it works. Just heard myself, never say you know. Right. I love that. I love how every time I think that I know something, I have my this part of my ego, or I don't know, I always have this voice reminding me to be humble because I'm gonna be humbled down otherwise. Always be humble. In reference to that, I even wrote it on my phone yesterday because it struck me as so important. Out of the book that I referred to like 3 times already, this one sentence says, "One to me is fame and shame. One to me is fame and shame." I really love that. You hear so many people that strive for fame, and they are so disillusioned when they discover that it's not what they thought it was, or that it's not fulfilling, or that it comes with so much weight, because now your whole sense of who you are is built on some structures that can be taken away from you at any given point in time. And I've personally done a lot of work around releasing the energies of shame within myself that I realized I was harboring. It was this very deep inner work. And I just really like the idea that fame and shame are one and the same, that they're both illusions, and that we really are all things. There's no right and wrong, there's no good and bad. I mean, there's love and fear. There's, and even fear is just a lack of understanding. And when you understand, once again, think about the neurons coming together, and you have this little strike of light going through the synapse, the space between the neurons. And that's how you create understanding. So light is understanding. Light bulb, ding. And it's really interesting to think about what fear and love have to do with each other. The way I understand love is that it is the all encompassing frequency. It is, it's the song of life. It's everything. And then there's all these different tonalities emerging from it, all these different frequencies and colors and everything we perceive, all stemming from love. Because what is life? Its reproduction comes from love. And fear is that darkness is the place where light hasn't seeped through yet. It's the unknown. It's the places we've yet to discover within ourselves. I don't know for how long I've been talking. I'm just reflecting and asking myself questions about life. And it's an interesting game we play here. Ultimately, the ultimate is really just to have fun with it, and to not get too attached, not caught up, to not get lost in the sauce. I kind of like that expression. First time I heard it, I was like, yeah, I like this one. But I've used it like 3 times already in my life, and I feels like I might be getting over it because it's not mine. I know I'm borrowing it every time. I mean, it's not like I feel like I really own any ideas, but I can kind of recall if I've heard it from somewhere else, and I like to give acknowledgement to wherever I heard it from. But then again, ideas, words, they're just passing. So I wanted to make an offering today. My offering was myself, my psyche, my heart. I'm sorry if my energy is not like the highest. Like I said, was up at 3. But I wonder how the sense of connection is felt for you on the receiving end. Like, does it feel like we're hanging out? Because I kind of feel like I'm opening up my hanging out space to whoever's tuning in, so it feels like a connection. I think I'm just gonna wish you my very best right now. Let's see what kind of blessings I can muster that are heartfelt. I wish you a beautiful day, a beautiful evening. I wish you a magical experience. I wish you the clarity of mind. I feel like I always end up wishing to people what I need, or something that it is resonant to how I feel in the moment, right? Because we're all just bring projecting outside what is inside. So clarity of mind right now, I think, is what I wish for us. There's so many stories being said right now, and there's an overabundance of information. Um, just the word itself, if you think about it, in formation is something that is in formation. So it's forming something. It's in the process. And I think that we tend to take it as absolutes, and none of anything we hear is an absolute. So there's really an importance of being critical about everything we hear and questioning things. Life is about questions, curiosity. That's how we tap into our creativity. So yeah, let's keep asking questions and follow our interest, asking questions about the things we enjoy reflecting upon, and and choose to put our focus on the things that truly bring us joy. A lot of people are addicted to drama because it's that biological nature of the human to generate more of what it knows. So if we've lived in a state of generating drama in our lives, in our life situations, for a long time through our imagination and everything we think, it's really a rewiring process for ourselves to tune into a different type of energy. But some tips that come to mind are just using affirmations, stick them on your wall, things that you want to integrate as your new thought patterns. Maybe work on just a few at a time and keep them up there for you to see. That's a reminder to myself that I don't have any right now here. Um, but I definitely noticed that when I've worked with affirmations, after a while, I understand that they are now encoded belief that I have carefully crafted and chosen, and that is now encoded as a knowing. Especially, I recognize it as a knowing because it is resonant to my heart, to what feels true to me. And that's the only way that we know if it resonates. It feels true to us. So I also trust that when people are tuning into these videos, it's not going to be for everybody. It's going to be for the people who resonate with this type of energy. So, I mean, I'm not in control of that end. I'm just in control of what I create here. Um, so yeah, in on topic with that, let's see. Let's see if we can try something. Out of curiosity, I'm just gonna channel some Reiki energy and just do a little offering to all of you. I've been told by my Reiki teacher that you cannot give a Reiki healing to somebody if they have not given their consent to it. So this is to be received by the ones who are willing to receive only. And it is for your highest good and the highest good of all. And it is for you to receive the medicine that is most needed to you in this specific moment. So, hmm. All you have to do is relax and just receive this energy. Just receive the energy of love and gratitude, ease, bliss, harmony, joy, peace, abundance. Mm. All these energies coming through. And all we are required to do is to simply receive. Simply. Thank you for receiving this gift. Thank you for being here. On this note, until next time.